Hey everyone. Okay, moving right along, we are on lesson 92 now. This is about home, flat, and rental. Flat here being, of course, the term for an apartment. I think this is more British English. I think in American English, people would say, well, apartment, but in Britain, it's common to say a flat. So, in any case, this lesson is a little bit long. There's not that much to do, but there's a lot to read and listen to. We have some really long texts in this one. Starting with the first dialogue here. So the first dialogue is between a client and an agent, obviously a client and an agent. And this one, yeah, it's a little bit longer than average, I'd say. So let's go ahead and get started and just listen in.
Здравствуйте. Я хотел бы снять квартиру.
На какой срок? Какую квартиру?
На длительный, более года. Желательно однокомнатную.
В центре города?
Думаю, нет. Но не очень далеко. 4-5 станций от центра.
В каком районе вы хотите снять квартиру?
А это имеет какое-то значение?
Конечно. На юго-западе и северо-западе квартиры стоят дороже, потому что там хорошая экология и районы лучше.
А где можно снять самую дешевую квартиру?
Думаю, что на востоке.
А почему?
Ну, там экология не очень хорошая и инфраструктура не очень развита.
Для меня это не принципиально. Давайте смотреть этот район.
Хорошо. Удаленность от метро?
Минут 10-15 пешком. Можно 2-3 остановки на автобусе.
Думаю, что смогу найти такой вариант. Вот наши цены.
А почему так дорого?
После того, как мы выберем вам квартиру, надо будет подписать контракт. И вы платите за аренду квартиры за первый месяц и последний в качестве гарантии. И еще 100% от стоимости аренды платите агентству за работу.
Ого! Как я понял, если вы найдете мне подходящую квартиру, я должен заплатить 3 цены.
Ну да, но деньги за последний месяц потом хозяин квартиры вам вернет, если в квартире все будет в порядке.
Ну что ж, давайте посмотрим квартиру.
К сожалению, хозяин сегодня не может. Завтра вечером вы сможете подъехать по этому адресу, и мы посмотрим.
Ладно, я постараюсь.
Тогда до завтра.
До свидания.
Yeah, so this lesson is about something that's very real and very stressful for a lot of people. Apartment hunting is very stressful in pretty much any country. In Russia, it actually might be a little bit less stressful than in many countries if you go through an agent. So in Russia, what most people tend to do when they're looking for an apartment is they'll go to an agency, which is something that I think tends to not be the case in most Western countries, but in Russia, it's exactly like this. You go to an agency and you tell them where you want to live, what conditions you want for the apartment, and they'll find something for you, which takes a lot of the hassle out of searching. I mean, there are similar services in Western countries as well, like in Western Europe and North America, but I feel like they're not used as much. I think people just look for their own apartments there. I don't know. It seems to me that using an agency to find an apartment is more common in Russia. That maybe that's just my perception. Anyway, so the client says,
Здравствуйте. Я хотел бы снять квартиру.
so я хотел бы, and then he says, снять. Снять квартиру. So, hello, I would like to rent an apartment. Снять meaning rent.
На какой срок?
На какой срок? Srok here basically means time period for which length of time.
Какую квартиру?
Which apartment?
На длительный, более года.
So, на длительный. На длительный. So, длинный means long, and на длительный basically means for the long term. Более года, more than 1 year.
Желательно однокомнатную.
Wishable or desirable is one room, so a one-room apartment.
В центре города?
In the center of the city?
Думаю, нет.
I think not,
Но не очень далеко.
but not very far.
4-5 станций от центра.
4 or 5 stations from the center. This is very common in cities which have widely used mass transit systems. You'll measure distances in rather than measuring distances in meters or miles or kilometers, he'll measure them in transit stops. So he wants an apartment that's 4 or 5 metro stations from the city center.
В каком районе вы хотите снять квартиру?
In which rayon, so basically in which region of the city do you want to rent an apartment?
А это имеет какое-то значение?
Does that have something to mean? Literally, does that have something to mean? So basically, does that mean something, or is it important?
Конечно.
Of course.
На юго-западе и северо-западе квартиры стоят дороже.
Okay, so the word there was дороже. So на юго-западе, in the southwest, and северо-западе in the so in the southwest and northwest, apartments are expensive
Потому что там хорошая экология и районы лучше.
because there is a good ecology. I'm not sure what she means by ecology. She says the ecology there is, I guess maybe like the environment is better, like it's like just the area is better, and the и район лучше, and the area is better.
А где можно снять самую дешевую квартиру?
Самую дешевую квартиру. So, and where can one rent the most cheap apartment?
Думаю, что на востоке.
Что на востоке? I think in the east.
А почему?
And why?
Ну, там экология не очень хорошая и инфраструктура не очень развита.
Okay, infrastructura. Just as in English, infrastructure. So, well, there the ecology is, I guess again, the environment is not very good, and the infrastructure is not very developed.
Для меня это не принципиально.
For me, that's not the principal thing. That's not the main thing.
Давайте смотреть этот район.
So, смотреть этот. So let's look at that area.
Хорошо. Удаленность от метро?
Хорошо. Удаленность. So the distance from the metro.
Минут 10-15 пешком. Можно 2-3 остановки на автобусе.
So minutes 10 to 15, so пешком is on foot. So minutes 10 to 15 on foot. This is also a big thing in Russia when you rent apartments. A lot of people in Russia tend to gauge the desirability of an apartment location based on how far it is from the metro. So typically they'll want to get a place that's right close to a metro stop. If it's really far away from a metro stop, those are seen as undesirable, especially to young people. Older people often have their own cars, but young people usually take the metro, and so they will look for a place that's very close to a metro stop because they don't want to walk too far to get to the metro. And actually, he's saying that he's willing to walk 10 to 15 minutes to get to the metro on foot. That's already pretty long. Most people would want less than that. Most people would want like 2 or 3 minutes to the metro stop on foot maximum. Можно 2-3, so it can be 2 or 3 stops by bus, so 2 or 3 bus stops away from the metro.
Думаю, что смогу найти такой вариант. Вот наши цены.
Okay, so думаю, что могу найти такой вариант. So I think that I can find that variant or that variation, basically that set of criteria. Вот наши цены. So here are our prices.
А почему так дорого?
После того, как мы
So he says, why is it so expensive?
выберем вам квартиру, надо будет подписать контракт.
Okay, so she says a lot here, but basically, so после того, как мы выберем вам квартиру, so after we choose or select an apartment for you, we need to sign a contract.
И вы платите за аренду квартиры за первый месяц и последний в качестве гарантии.
Okay, and you pay the the rent, arrenda is rent. So you pay the rent on the apartment for the first month and the last month в качестве гарантии. So this is actually fairly common around the world, not only in Russia. When you're renting an apartment, you'll often pay like an extra month's rent as she says here, a guarantee. The terminology might vary from one language to another, but basically, yeah, you pay in advance on like a couple of months' rent because if there's something wrong with the apartment, like if you break something in the apartment, they may retain some of the rent, or they may retain some of that guarantee.
И еще 100% от стоимости аренды платите агентству за работу.
I guess in English you call it a deposit. You pay a deposit on the apartment against possible damages, and then they inspect when you move out, they inspect the apartment, and if anything's damaged, then they'll take the cost of repairs out of your deposit. But in Russian they just call it a guarantee. So еще 100%. So and also 100%. Yeah. This is another thing which, so it goes to the agentstvo. And also 100% of the monthly rent gets paid to the agent for the work. So this is the downside to using an agency in Russia. This is why many people don't want to use an agency in Russia. If they find an apartment for you, you pay basically 1 month's rent to the agency. That's their finder's fee, because obviously the agency is a business. They're not doing it for free. So if they find you an apartment and you take the apartment, then you pay, in addition to whatever you pay the landlord or the property owner for the apartment, you also pay 1 month's rent to the agency as their finder's fee, which for many people is a lot. I mean, 1 whole month's rent as a finder's fee can be a lot for some people. So many people avoid agencies and try to independently find apartments if they don't want to pay that much.
Ого! Как я понял, если вы найдете мне подходящую квартиру, я должен заплатить 3 цены.
Ну да.
So he says, and somewhat correctly, ого, like, ho-ho. Как я понял, as I understand it, если вы найдете мне подходящую квартиру, if you find me a desirable apartment or a fitting apartment, I must pay 3 rents or 3 prices. So what he means is, besides paying the first month's rent, he also has to pay the deposit or the guarantee, and he has to pay the finder's fee to the agency. Well, yes, that's how it works when you rent an apartment. I mean, you have to pay the deposit in any case. That's almost always something you have to pay extra in addition to just the regular rent. And then, yeah, if you use the agency, you have to pay the agency. I mean, that's normal.
Да, но деньги за последний месяц потом хозяин квартиры вам вернет, если в квартире все будет в порядке.
Ну что ж,
Yeah.
давай.
Okay. So she says, но деньги за what was the word she said there? Хозяин, right? Yeah. Хозяин being basically the landlord. So she says, well, yes, but the money to the landlord for the last month will be returned later. So basically, they will later return the money if in the apartment everything is in order. So basically, if everything in the apartment is okay, you get your deposit back, which is standard. That's standard pretty much all over the world.
Давайте посмотрим квартиру.
Ну что же. So, kind of like, well, okay. Let's go ahead and look at apartments.
К сожалению, хозяин сегодня не может. Завтра вечером вы сможете подъехать по этому адресу, и мы посмотрим.
Okay, so, к сожалению, unfortunately. А последний сегодня не может. So unfortunately, the owner cannot today. Today they cannot make the appointment. Tomorrow evening, can you go to this address and we will take a look?
Ладно, я постараюсь.
Тогда до завтра.
До свидания.
He says, okay, I'll try it. She says, okay, then until tomorrow, goodbye. So yeah, so tomorrow they'll go and see the apartment together, and the property owner will be there, or the landlord, and they'll take a look, the three of them, and then if the client likes it, then the agent will negotiate the contract, and they'll sign it, and then that's it. Then you've got the apartment. Then you have to pay. Oh, it doesn't like something here. What did I get wrong here? It doesn't like one of my answers here. Let's see. What did I? Always seems so simple. It seems like I get everything right, and then somehow it. Everything looks okay, and I don't recall seeing anything that really Oh, I thought something seemed wrong here. Yeah, okay, sorry, this is my mistake. I mixed it, so the last I mixed up. Yeah, хозяин сегодня не может. The landlord cannot today. Okay, that was the problem. Right, and then the last month here. Okay, there we go. I mixed up the last two. Sorry. I thought that didn't look right, but I wasn't sure. That's why I didn't say anything. Okay, so there we go. That was the first dialogue. Pretty straightforward. That's a very typical dialogue that you have. That's a very, very typical dialogue that you have when you're renting your first apartment in Russia. It almost always goes like that. People say, well, why do I have to pay 3 months rent? Well, one month is the finder's fee for the agency, and then you have to pay a deposit on top of the regular rent. Okay, so now we have a second dialogue between a secretar and a realtor and a secretary, obviously. And this dialogue is also fairly long, as you can see. So let's see what we have. Oops, I clicked twice, sorry. Oh, I think it doesn't want to play because my internet appears to have cut out. Sorry. I'm having real problems with my internet lately. It really does not want to cooperate sometimes. So let's see. What I need to do here is okay. There we go. Is that gonna work now? Let me reload the page. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna lose that I did this. Yeah, it forgot that I did it because when you finish these tasks, it basically sends a signal to the web server that you finished that task. But I had no I think my internet had already gone out at the point that I finished this, and so the server never got the message that I finished this task, and so it's marked as incomplete. Okay, that's kind of disappointing, but all right. Well, maybe I'll do it again later. But in any case, let's go ahead and try the second one here.
Добрый день, это риэлторское агентство?
Да, слушаю вас.
Я представляю большую международную компанию. Нашему сотруднику нужна квартира.
Он русский или экспат?
Простите, какое это имеет значение?
Просто параметры отбора жилья разные.
А цена?
Цена одинаковая для всех. Но у нас нет дешевых квартир.
Хорошо, он экспат.
Тогда, думаю, ему нужна большая квартира в центре города, но недалеко от офиса. Рядом должны быть хороший супермаркет и парк. Если у него есть машина, то должен быть и водитель. Поэтому место для парковки не обязательно.
Ой, вы правы, он так и написал.
Если ваш сотрудник приезжает с семьей...
Нет, он приезжает один. Во всяком случае, о семье он не писал.
Это лучше.
Почему?
Обычно тогда надо искать квартиру недалеко от хорошей школы. Еще спортзал и бассейн.
Ну, так что вы можете предложить?
У меня есть вопрос. Где находится ваша компания?
Недалеко от Большого театра.
Тогда могу предложить вам вот такой вариант. 3-комнатная квартира с хорошим ремонтом, но без мебели. 4-й этаж 5-этажного дома, есть балкон. Окна выходят и на улицу, и во двор. Лифт есть, но лучше им не пользоваться. Он старый. Рядом находится элитный супермаркет, где продают только экологически чистые и натуральные продукты. Недалеко также фитнес-клуб с бассейном. 25 минут пешком до Большого театра. Стоимость месячной аренды 5000 евро.
Это далековато. А есть что-нибудь поближе?
Поближе? Есть. Шестикомнатная квартира в 2 этажа. Расположена в 5 минутах ходьбы от Большого театра. Ремонт, мебели нет. Автономное электро- и водоснабжение. Охрана, парковка на 2 автомобиля. Со 2-го этажа можно выйти на летнюю террасу. Рядом ЦУМ, магазины.
Отличный вариант.
40 тысяч евро ежемесячно. Плюс оплата коммунальных услуг и охраны.
Сколько? Мне надо посоветоваться с начальством.
Конечно, конечно.
А первый вариант сколько стоит?
5 тысяч евро в месяц.
Тогда я вам перезвоню чуть позже, хорошо?
Хорошо, буду ждать. Кстати, квартиры можно посмотреть, когда вам удобно.
Хорошо. До свидания.
Oh boy, this is also something that if you're a foreigner in Russia, you'll probably experience something like this because this is usually how it goes. So, in case you didn't catch it, the woman's calling to find an apartment for a foreigner, somebody who's an expatriate in Russia. And usually when a foreigner tries to rent an apartment in Russia, they will try to find you the most expensive thing possible because they figure foreigners have money. They figure if you're a foreigner coming into Russia, you must have money. At least you must have more money than than domestic Russians living in Russia. So they will really try to rip you off like in the most insane way possible. So they'll find you something absurdly expensive. This was a little bit extreme. This is actually even more expensive than what you'd usually get in real life. But I guess the realtor got the impression that the guy is very rich. And okay, anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and listen in again. So the secretary says,
Добрый день. Это риэлторское агентство?
so, риэлторское агентство. So, good day. Is this the realty agency or the real estate agency?
Да, слушаю вас.
Yes, I listen to you, or I'm listening to you.
Я представляю большую международную компанию.
I represent a large international company.
Нашему сотруднику нужна квартира.
Our employee сотруднику. Come on, get in there. Нашему сотруднику нужна квартира. So our employee needs an apartment.
Он русский или экспат?
Is he Russian or an expat?
Простите, какое это имеет значение?
Excuse me, what difference does that make?
Просто параметры отбора жилья разные.
Just the parameters of choosing living are different.
А цена?
And the price?
Цена одинаковая для всех.
The price is the same for everyone.
Но у нас нет дешевых квартир.
But we don't have cheap apartments.
Хорошо, он экспат.
Okay, he's an expat. I like to hear they use the word expat. Usually in Russian they'll say иностранец. They'll say somebody is an иностранец if they're a foreigner, but here they're using the word expat as an English loan word.
Тогда, думаю, ему нужна большая квартира в центре города, но недалеко от офиса.
So here he goes with his sales pitch, and it gets a little crazy. So the start is maybe kind of reasonable. I mean, this is fairly common. So the realtor says, okay, then I think he needs a big, большая квартира, so big apartment в центре города, in the center of the city, not far from the office.
Рядом должны быть хороший супермаркет и парк.
Супермаркет и парк. Nearby, there will be, or there must be nearby a good supermarket and a park.
Если у него есть машина, то должен быть и водитель. Поэтому место для парковки не обязательно.
If he has a car, then there must be a driver. Therefore, a parking space, a place for parking, is not necessary.
Ой, вы правы, он так и написал.
Oh, you're right. He wrote about that. That's what he wrote.
Если ваш сотрудник приезжает с семьей,
If your employee is coming with family,
Нет, он приезжает один.
No, he's coming alone.
Во всяком случае, о семье он не писал.
Okay. About the family, he did not write.
Это лучше.
Почему?
So he says, that's better, and she asks why.
Обычно тогда надо искать квартиру недалеко от хорошей школы. Еще спортзал и бассейн.
Okay, so now he goes on. This guy's obviously used to dealing with expats. Expats, I guess, wealthy expats in Russia are obviously fairly demanding, which I guess makes sense because, they have a lot of money, so they probably expect a lot of things. Okay, so what did he say? So you need a школы, еще спортзал и what did he say after спортзал? Школа, спортзал, и бассейн. That's right, бассейн. So usually then, if they're coming with a family, then they need to look for an apartment not far away from a good school and also a sportzal, so a sport hall or a gym, and бассейн, swimming pool.
Ну, так что вы можете предложить?
У меня есть вопрос. Где находится ваша компания?
Недалеко от Большого театра.
Тогда...
Okay, so she says, what can you recommend or suggest? He says, I have a question. Where exactly is your company? She says, not far from the Bolshoi Theater, from the big theater, obviously in Moscow. Well, I guess there are probably big theaters in other cities, but usually in Russia, if you say big theater with that context, it almost always refers to the one in Moscow. And this guy goes on a long spiel. I'm going to let it play out.
Тогда могу предложить вам вот такой вариант. Трехкомнатная квартира с хорошим ремонтом, но без мебели. 4-й этаж пятиэтажного дома, есть балкон. Окна...
Actually, no, let's not let it play out. I should fill in the words here. So, вам вот такой вариант. Трехкомнатная, so a 3-room apartment. С хорошим ремонтом, но без мебели. Четвертый этаж пятиэтажного дома есть балкон. So then I can offer you this variation or this variant. A 3-room apartment in a good repair, in good condition, but without furniture. Yeah, this is another thing. In Russia, most apartments tend to be furnished, so the furniture comes with the apartment, which can be good or bad. I mean, it's good if you don't want to buy furniture and just want to, if you don't really care about what furniture you want to have and just are okay with whatever furniture they have. But many people, if they've lived in Russia already, they have their own furniture and they want to move in their own furniture. They want to find an apartment without furnishings and just take their own furniture in. So it kind of depends on your situation. Четвертый этаж, so the 4th floor of a 5-floor building, which is also very typical. So many buildings in Moscow, and I think also in Russia generally, because this is kind of a holdover from the Soviet Union. In the Soviet Union, it was kind of standard to have a 5-floor apartment building. That was just the usual design. So they still have so many of those old 5-floor apartment buildings sitting around all over Russia. So the 4th floor of a 5-floor building with a balcony. There is a balcony.
Выходит и на улицу, и во двор. Лифт есть, но лучше им не пользоваться. Он старый. Рядом на...
Okay, so then he says, окна выходят и на улицу, so the... И на улицу, и во двор. So windows face both the street and the yard. Lift есть. So lift is, like in British English, a lift, an elevator. So lift есть, there is a lift or an elevator but better don't use him. He's old, or it's old. Better don't use the lift, it's old. So I guess you'd get stuck in it, or you're likely to get stuck in the elevator if you try to use it.
Находится элитный супермаркет, где продают только экологически чистые и натуральные продукты. Недалеко
Boy, he's really catering to the needs of wealthy and demanding foreigners. So, рядом находится, so in the area there is an элитный супермаркет, an elite supermarket, где продают только экологически чистые и натуральные продукты. So nearby there is an elite supermarket where are sold only ecological and natural products. So basically, here ecological meaning what English speakers would call organic. You know, now there's this whole thing about organic food, organic products. So basically, ecological products, organic products, ecological and natural products.
также фитнес-клуб с бассейном. 25 минут пешком до Большого театра. Стоимость месячной аренды 5000 евро.
Okay. So, not far away, there is also a fitness club с бассейном, with a fitness club with a swimming pool. 25 minutes, so 25 minutes by foot to the Большой театр, to the big theater. Стоимость месячной аренды, so the price of the monthly rent, did you catch it? 5000 евро, 5,000 euro for the monthly rent. That is insane. And also it's very typical that they will use euros. If you're an expatriate, they will usually give you apartment prices in either US dollars or euros because those are considered more stable currencies than the Russian ruble. That's very typical. They will almost always give you prices in those currencies if you're a foreigner renting an apartment in Russia.
Это далековато. А есть что-нибудь поближе?
So she says, that's far away. Is there anything closer?
Поближе? Есть. Шестикомнатная квартира в 2 этажа. Расположена в 5 минутах ходьбы от Большого театра. Ремонт.
Okay. Closer? Yes, there is. Wow. Шестикомнатная квартира, a 6-room apartment on the second floor. Wait, no. No, not even on the second floor. В 2 этажа in 2 floors. So the apartment is so huge it's 2 floors. It's a 2-floor apartment with 6 rooms. Wow, it's like a suite. It's not just like an apartment, it's like a whole frigging suite. A 6-room apartment on 2 floors. Located 5 minutes 5 минутах пешком. Wait, what? Hold on. Ходьбы, sorry. Ходьбы is the word here. But that's still on foot. It's just a 5-minute walk instead of 5 minutes on foot. So 5-minute walk from the Большой театр.
Ремонт. Мебели нет. Автономное электро- и водоснабжение. Охрана, парковка на 2 автомобиля. Со 2-го этажа можно...
Okay, hold on. Okay, so... Ремонт мебели нет. So, renovation, no furniture. I don't know what he means by renovation here. Does he mean that it's renovated, but there's no furniture, or does he mean there's no renovation and no furniture? Anyway, okay, whatever. Автономное электро- и водоснабжение. So, automatic electricity and water supply. What did he say after that? He said, Охрана, right. Охрана is a security force, like security guards. So basically it's like a gated community with security guards. Парковка на два автомобиля. So, parking space for two automobiles, two cars.
Выйти на летнюю террасу. Рядом ЦУМ, магазины.
Okay. So, второго этажа. So, on the second floor, maybe на летную terrasu, so a summer terrace. So on the second floor, you can exit onto a summer terrace. And nearby there are tsum and stores. I actually don't know what tsum is. I'm guessing it's a shopping center. So in Moscow, the famous shopping center that's right next to the Red Square is GUM. So I'm going to guess that tsum is another famous shopping center in Moscow that I'm just not aware of, and other stores.
Отличный вариант.
Excellent variant. Excellent option.
40 тысяч евро ежемесячно. Плюс оплата коммунальных услуг и охраны.
So, did you catch that? 40 тысяч евро ежемесячно. 40,000 euros or euro every month. A monthly rent of 40,000 euro, which is actually quite a bit more than most people make in a year, I think. Plus oplata коммунальных, plus, in addition to the 40,000 euro rent, plus payment of communal services and securities. So I guess communal services is like utilities, so I guess like water and electricity plus the security.
Сколько?
My reaction is, well, сколько? How much?
Мне надо посоветоваться с начальством.
Конечно, конечно.
I need to discuss this with the management. Of course.
А первый вариант сколько стоит?
5000 евро в месяц.
Тогда я вам...
And the first variant, how much did it cost? 5,000 euro a month.
Перезвоню чуть позже, хорошо?
Хорошо, буду ждать. Кстати, квартиры можно посмотреть, когда вам удобно.
Хорошо, до свидания.
So then she says, okay, then I will call you a little later, okay? Okay, until or no, буду ждать means I will wait. Okay, I'll wait. By the way, you can look at the apartment when you like or when it's convenient for you. Okay, goodbye. Boy, those dialogues are long. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead. Let's take a look at the full list of vocabulary words here for the. Yeah, so. Yeah, exactly. So a chazyain, which is a landlord, they sdavat or sdat an apartment. They rent out an apartment, and if you live there, if you're the tenant living in the apartment, then you snimat or snyat an apartment. You are the renter. So kvartirant is the renter, or arrendator is the leasee. Typically, I guess these are probably the same person. Some observers who have been living in Russia for a while say ремонт это русский спорт. Repair or renovation is a Russian sport. Indeed, Russians love repairing things themselves. However, sometimes you just have no time or qualifications for some tasks. Let's meet specialists, and let's learn some useful words. Chinit, lamatzia, to break, useful word. Renovate, I think it should have one N in it. To become clogged, to blow out, the pipe is broken. Yeah. To be electrocuted, a little bit. I like how they put in here a little bit electrocuted. Yeah, so slevsar is the metal worker. Santechnik, sanitary technician, so basically a plumber. Electric, electrician. Designer. Remember the idioms. Master na все ruki. Literally a master on all hands. So basically, in English, you'd say jack of all trades. Do-it-yourself man, person, compare almost anything. Zoloty ruki, golden hands. Very talented master, a handy person. Okay. This still goes on for a while. You can see there's still fairly long text to listen to here. So you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just do this here, and then I'll cut the video here and turn this lesson into 2 videos. How's that? Okay, so we just need to fill in the correct words here. So иностранная компания, so international company, something квартиру для своего сотрудника в вашем доме. So an international company is looking for an apartment for its employee in his home. На длительный срок дорого. So long-term expensive. Okay, that's a pretty good ad. Basically saying we're looking for something expensive. You want to sell us something expensive because we want to pay for something expensive. So the word here is snimet. The company is going to snimet an apartment, meaning rent an apartment. Срочно двух. Okay, that's a little hard to read. Двухкомнатную квартиру. So a two-room apartment. Remont. I guess when they just say remont, it means in good repair. I mean, remont literally just means renovation, but I guess here it means renovated. It's been renovated, so it's in good shape. Мебель, TV, internet, so TV and internet. 10 minutes, 10 minut пешком от метро, 10 minutes walk from the metro. So it's, so call between 9 and 20. So call between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. And there's the phone number. Okay, so what's the word that we're looking for here? It's not really that hard to tell, actually. It's been crossed out, but you can see it says sdam. So yeah, I think this means. Yeah, it's dumb. So basically offering an apartment, I believe. Семья something одно или две комнаты квартиры в вашем районе. So a family searching a 1 or 2 room apartment in our area. Оплату и чистоту гарантируем. Без дети и животных. So guarantees of payment, I guess, without children or animals. So no children, no pets. Okay, so what's the verb here? Snimet. They want to rent an apartment. Okay, something квартира посуточно от 10 дней скидки метро Арбатская. So these are, I guess, like a short-term apartment. So often you'll have places which are selling in Western Europe. They tend to be called apartment hotels, I think, or something like that, or like short-term apartments. Basically, it's kind of like a hotel, except it's like a full apartment. It's not really just a hotel. It's like an apartment but rented short-term. So So skidki means discount. So it's saying if you rent it for longer than 10 days, you get a discount. So this is obviously a short-term apartment rental that they're advertising here. And yes, sdayotsi, so offering an apartment. All right, something dacha. So something about a dacha, a country house, 75 kilometers from MKAD. KAD is the ring road. So around Moscow, there's a big circle road which goes around the city so that traffic, if you're driving past Moscow, you don't have to drive through Moscow. You can drive around the city. So this dacha is 75 kilometers away from the Moscow ring road, MKAD. Kievskoye шоссе, Kievian, Шоссе is like a street or like a boulevard. So a Kievian street. I'm not sure what that means. Недалеко жди, so not far away from a railway station. Канализация, вода, электричество в доме. So canalization, so sewage. So there's sewage, water, and electricity in the home. Охрана, and also security even. Удобный подъезд. So тихие соседи. So Удобный I forget what that means. Sorry. Тихие, so peaceful neighbors or quiet neighbors. Рядом, so near to the forest and to the river. Чистые, okay, so peaceful area. So what is the word we're looking for here? We're looking for, again, сдается, so offering a dacha. And finally, семья, something дом на лето. So a family is looking for a home for the summer. 50 kilometers от МКАД. So again, 40 to 50 kilometers from the МКАД, again, the Moscow Ring Road. В доме вода, газ, электричество. So, yeah, so they're saying they want this. It sounds almost like they're describing a place that they already have, but no, they're looking for a place that has water, gas, and electricity. Рядом лес, река, near to the forest and river. Предоплата. I guess payment in advance is what they're offering there. Anyway, the word here is snimet. There we go. Okay. Okay, that was the first part of the lesson. Gosh, this is a long lesson because now we're going to listen. This is a huge thing to listen to here. And then we have just a few questions after that. But let's go ahead and do this in another video. So I'll cut the video here and make a second video out of the rest of this lesson. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.